Let's get straight to the point. Australia's housing market is a ticking time bomb, and everyone is complicit in this disaster. Investors, banks, politicians, practically everyone is playing a part in this unsustainable game. House prices are inflated and completely detached from reality, yet no one is willing to take the necessary steps to defuse the situation. The truth: you can only stretch this illusion so far before it collapses. Welcome to the Australian property market, where buying a home feels like throwing darts blindfolded. Yes, there's a shortage of supply, endless sprawl, and first home grants that barely scratch the surface of affordability. But here's the real issue no one is addressing. A severe lack of price transparency is keeping buyers in the dark, fueling inflated prices. As of late 2023, the median house price in Sydney is around AUD 1.5 million, while Melbourne sits at about AUD 1 million, far beyond the means of the average Australian. With household incomes stagnant, affordability has plummeted. We've been building for years, yet the political narrative remains: we'll build our way out of this. Let's call it what it is: a Ponzi scheme. No, it's worse than that. Residential properties have no real economic utility right now. Rental yields are laughably low, averaging about 2.5% in major cities, offering no return on investment. For years, this country has operated under a Ponzi scheme, as politicians lack the know-how to actually grow the economy beyond digging up raw materials and shipping them out. Both the Liberal and Labour parties have promoted relentless growth, focusing solely on keeping house prices up while wages remain stagnant. In fact, wages have only increased by 1.7% annually in recent years, well below the rate of inflation. Let's be clear, most Australians don't truly own their homes. They are up to their eyeballs in debt. The average household debt-to-income ratio is now over 200%, meaning Australians owe more than double what they earn in a year. With interest rates rising, many are finding it increasingly difficult to keep up with mortgage repayments. So how do banks grow their revenue in this environment? The only way is to bring more people into the country. Just like selling car insurance requires a growing customer base, financial institutions depend on immigration to boost demand for loans and services. The same goes for airlines like Qantas. More people means more air travel, which translates into higher profits. The ASX 100, the construction industry and real estate agents are all in on this Ponzi scheme, feeding the beast that is the Australian housing market. These entities benefit from the ongoing inflation of property values, creating a cycle that will continue to grow until it becomes unsustainable and eventually bursts into flames. We are facing the biggest decline in disposable income in the developed world. A pint of beer costs around AUD 18, prices are skyrocketing while wages stagnate. There is little to no job creation outside of the housing Ponzi scheme or the National Disability Insurance Scheme, NDIS. Companies have no incentive to lift wages and, in many cases, can't afford to do so. The purchasing power of Australians is being eroded, turning their hard-earned money into confetti. Meanwhile, house prices are rising like a parabolic curve out of control. We are heading toward a scenario where default rates on mortgages will rise sharply, leading to a significant reset in property values. Mortgage in Latin translates to death pledge. This isn't just a term, it's a reality for many struggling homeowners. Do not be taken for a fool. The secret behind Australia's housing Ponzi scheme is waiting to be uncovered, and the implications for average Australians are dire. And here's the kicker: much of this won't be discussed in mainstream media. Why? Because many media outlets own real estate portals and benefit from the inflated property market. Their interests are aligned with maintaining the status quo, keeping the truth hidden while promoting narratives that support continued investment in real estate. This creates a cycle of misinformation, further entrenching the problems. This mass immigration isn't just about growth. It's about propping up a housing bubble. When the market realizes that true demand isn't there, we'll see a significant fallout. We've witnessed similar situations in countries like Portugal, Greece, and the USA, where housing bubbles burst, leading to economic ruin. Australia is heading down that same path. Now, retirees are still working to pay off their mortgages while young people are sold a Ponzi pipe dream. According to a recent survey, 46% of millennials believe they will never be able to afford a home. The dream of home ownership is becoming a nightmare, leaving an entire generation grappling with an impossible situation. It's time to wake up. The Australian housing market is not just a bubble, it's a scandal. If we don't confront the reality of what's happening, we'll all pay the price when this house of cards comes crashing down. Transparency, accountability, and a real conversation about the future of housing in this country are urgently needed. The clock is ticking.